Hello everyone, and welcome from me, 3D Immortal from Web Institute, that is web-institute.blogspot.com. Today is going to be our third Blender tutorial, and can you guess what it's going to be about? Well, I think you guessed it wrong. I bet that you guessed that we're going to model this couch, but no, I'm not going to model the whole couch. I'm just going to model this bottom cushion, and the rest of it is actually, the same idea, and it's quite simple. You can model it yourself, but I'm just going to model this for simplicity and, for the tutorial to be short. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to split my view here. I want the UV image editor to be visible to me in order to have my reference image. By the way, I just found that reference image over the internet. I went to Google Images and wrote couch, and then this is the first thing that came to me, so I liked it. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to the 3D view here. T to close that tool shelf. I don't need it right now, and I'm going to work with a default cube. Now the default cube, actually, first of all, I need to go to the object, and then the naming convention, I will name it cushion. Okay, and I want to work with measurement units that really make sense to me. For me, I'm used to the metric system, just in order to have the correct dimensions of this cushion, so you can work with the imperial, inches and feet and so on, but I don't like this. I'm actually used to the metric system, meters, centimeters and so on. So I'm going to switch to the metric units, okay, and then go back to the object tab in order to scale it according to the dimensions I really want. For me, I think a proper dimension for this cushion to be about 1 meter long, 1 meter wide, and about 20 centimeters tall. So this is X, Y and Z. Quite simple. So X is 1, Y is 1, but Z is going to be 20 centimeters. That is going to be 0.2 meters, because 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Okay, now this is the basic shape of this cushion, but now as you can see, it's quite sharp, and these edges are very sharp, right? So I don't like that. I need to smooth these edges a bit. How can I do this? Well, there is a modifier called the bevel modifier. Once you select it, it bevels the corners of the edge and smooths it. That's quite right. So I'm going to apply it and add another bevel modifier in order to smooth it more. If I go to tab edit, I can have here more smooth. So I will just apply it again and then tap to the edit mode, and as you can see here, this is quite nice. See, we've got some triangles here that I don't like to work with. Maybe you can skip them, and maybe you may not. It doesn't matter. Depends on whether you like it or not. But I'm just going to show you a trick. I'm not going to get rid of all of the triangles, because it might be quite a long process, and here in Blender we don't have a perfect set of tools. So what I'm going to do is to go to the face select mode, and then deselect all by hitting A on the keyboard, and then select this face, the other one here, and then hit X on the keyboard to delete the faces. And then you select this face, and you might want to do something. You might want to go to the face menu, the faces menu, by hitting Control F on your keyboard, and then you have this quads to tries, you know, Control T, that's the shortcut, and then this will be divided into two triangles. I will select the lower one and delete it, and then I'm going to the edge select mode, select that edge and subdivide it. So subdivided, now I have one vertex to work with here, you know. I'm going to select it with the other three vertices and hit F on the keyboard to fill, you know, fill, to create a polygon, you know, and select the other four and hit F to, you know, fill the other polygon. Good. Now I can, you know, either I can choose, you know, by between doing the same thing for the rest of the three corners, you know, or maybe there is a better way to do this. How? Let me show you. So Control R to loop cut. I'm going to make a loop cut here, and then another Control R to make another loop cut here, and then another Control R to make another loop cut here, and that's it. Now I'm going to start to delete some faces. I'm going to go to the top viewport, and I'm going to disable this option. This is limit selection to visible, you know. I want to be able to select those faces in the bottom, okay, that are not visible to me, and then B to box select all of these faces. No, I'm not working in the faces right now, so I'm gonna go back to the faces here, and then B again to box select these faces, X to delete, and then B again to delete these faces again, X faces, and then I can go here to the side viewport and another B. Oh, that's not gonna be good. I need it to be a little bit straight, like that. Okay, I selected these faces right now and hit X faces, and they're just deleted. That's quite nice. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, that's the trick actually, I'm going to mirror this object several times, you know, in order to shape or form the complete object. How to do that? Add modifier. We have that mirror modifier, we didn't talk about it before, this mirror modifier, and this time I'll mirror the object across the X axis. So, you know, plus X, you know, the plus X, or the part of the object that is placed in the plus X, you know, direction, is mirrored to the minus X. Good. There is an option called clipping. I'm going to show you what it does. You know, first of all, let's select these B. Let me select these vertices. Now, if clipping is disabled, you can go through, you know, the mirrored, the original object and the mirrored one, they can go through each other, you know. But that's not what I want to achieve, you know. I want to be able to weld these vertices from the original object to their corresponding vertices in the other side, you know. So clipping will just do that for me. Yeah. Now they can't go through each other. Yeah, they can't go through each other. That's just good. That's just good. Okay. And if you go the N and X is just 0. Didn't change. Good. And I will mirror the UV also as well. And then, what if you try to hit apply here? Oh, an error. Modifiers cannot be applied in edit mode, so you have to go out of the edit mode and hit apply. You don't have to hit apply. You can add your stack of modifiers if you want, but it doesn't matter, you know. So tab into edit mode again, and maybe it's a good time now to make sure that that those vertices are welded together. So how to do that? I will select all and then hit W on the keyboard. Will bring the specials window to you, you've got that option called remove doubles. See, 4 vertices were removed. 4 vertices were removed, you know. So now everything is perfect. So if I choose that vertex, now it's 1 vertex. Okay, Control Z to go back. This one also is 1 vertex, 1 vertex, 1 vertex, 1 vertex, and 1 vertex. Good. Now I want to mirror this object again across the y-axis. So how to do that? And I add another mirror modifier, and this time the axis of symmetry will be y. Okay, and also do the clipping, the same thing. Box select. Do the clipping here. Oops. One vertex is selected here, so deselect all. B selected again, and now make sure that they're welded together. Mirror UV, and go out of the edit mode if you want to apply the modifier, and then hit A, W, remove doubles. 0 vertices are removed. That means that everything is welded perfectly. This is good. Now what else? What I need to do now is I want to mirror this object across the Z axis. So another mirror modifier, mirror. Okay, and this time the axis of symmetry will be Z, and I will do the clipping, and then I will do deselect all, go to the side viewport, and try to select, box select here, these ones. Make sure that nothing else was selected by mistake. Okay, and everything is welded together. Okay, out of the edit mode, hit apply, and that's cool. Now as you can see, there is an edge here. Apparently a few vertices were not welded together perfectly. So how to do that? We go back to the edit mode, select that vertex. It's welded together and it's properly, no problem. But in order to make sure that nothing goes wrong, so I will select all by hitting A, W, remove doubles. 0 vertices were removed. Now that means that everything is okay. If you try to render now, looking good. As you can see, the shading here isn't smooth, right? So escape to go back to the 3D view, and then selecting all, W, and not smooth, shade smooth. Now everything is smoothed out. Good. Now you can add your own subsurf modifier, because it's quite simple, quite important right now. But what I really want to do before I add that subsurface modifier, I want to do something. So deselect all, go to the edge mode, and then Alt right click to loop selection, make a loop selection, edge loop selection. Okay, and I selected this. I want to duplicate this edge loop. How can I do that? There is a shortcut called Shift D. I will duplicate it across the Z axis, it doesn't matter. And then what I'm going to do with this edge loop, I'm going to separate it into a different object. How to do that? There is a shortcut called P. You can find it here also from where is that? Transform. Well, I don't really remember. Edges. No, maybe from faces. No, I don't remember. Yes, here, separate, P. So there is the P, okay, selection, and now you find that Blender created a different object that is cushion 001. It's a separate object that consists of this, path. I'm going to convert it into a path now, and you will understand why. Uh, First of all, I need to convert this object from a mesh to a curve. So convert curve from mesh. Now it's a curve, as you can see. It's just a curve now. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to deselect it now, and Shift A to add a curve and a path. Now this path is created for me, you know, and it's called curve. Not so intuitive, right? So I'm gonna call it path. Okay, and that curve right now is actually following this data of the curve. No, I don't. I wanted to follow the path object. I mean, this edge loop that I created. I wanted to take the same shape. As you can see, it took the same shape of it. Now, what I'm going to do with this shape, it's quite simple to achieve this with Cinema 4D using the sweep NURBS modifier, but here in Blender it's quite a little bit, you know, tricky, but I'm going to show you how. So Shift A, I want to sweep a circle around this path, you know, to form, you know, these edges, you know. I don't know what they're called, but you know, you'll understand, you'll get the point when we get it done. So I will Shift A, curve, NURBS circle, and that NURBS circle actually, I don't, as you can see here, I want to control its radius. How can I do that? I want the radius to be about 4 millimeters. So I'm going to scale the XY to be 0.04. Yeah, 0.04 and 0.04. Good. Now, that's the circle. That's our circle right now. What I'm going to do with it now, I'm going to choose my path object. The path, not the cushion 001. Okay? And then there is called the bevel object. I'm gonna call it the curve circle. Look at that. Isn't it that good? So it's quite simple in Cinema 4D, but here it's, you know, you have to think about it, you know. Blender really is sometimes quite limiting because it's, you know, it's under development, and it's not really complete at the moment, so it challenges your mind, really. It really challenges your mind. Now, okay. Okay. I think there is something wrong here, but what I'm going to do with this selected now, I'm going to go to Object, Convert to Mesh. Now it's a mesh object. That's what I wanted. I can add a modifier to it, a subsurface modifier, and now it's quite good. And then I can delete. I'm gonna go out of it. Delete that one. It's unnecessary at the moment. Just delete it. So X, and delete the not the path, of course, but the circle. It's not needed anymore. X, and then I want to hide it for the moment, and then go to the cushion shape here, tab into edit mode, enable back the only visible objects, you know, and then go to the vertex mode, select that vertex, going to the side view perspective, I mean orthogonal, and then we didn't add a modifier here, a subsurface modifier, and I will just, you know, move that vertex up just a little bit, and then I might also want to play around with these vertices here. Okay, like that. And move them up just a tiny bit, and then S to scale them around what? Around X and Y. So this is Shift Z. S Shift Z. Oh yeah, like that. And then move them down just a tiny bit. Okay. And what else? I can also work with these vertices and the sides. Okay. Okay, that's it. Numpad 7 to go to the top viewport. And then S, that will be Shift Z as well. And just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Okay, that's it. Now what? Now what? This is quite good, huh? Yeah. I will enable back my path. Okay. And I will do what? Do something more interesting. I will make it a child of this object. So I'm going to go to object and set its parent to be no, it's actually the path I want to be the path. So the path will be a child of cushion. Okay. And there's also object transform origin to geometry. Origin to geometry, yes. And then I will move that here just a tiny bit like that. I think I should have really decreased the size of the circle, because this is quite big. This is quite big, really. The size of the circle is quite big, and that's not the effect that I really wanted to achieve. So I'm going to redo this real quick. So delete that object, then go back, tab, disable that modifier. I'm just going to disable it. Alt, deselect all, go to this, Alt select, Shift D to duplicate it, and the Z axis, and then P to separate it into a separate object, and then deselect all, Shift A to add a path, and that path, call it a path. It's actually inherit its data from what? Well, cushion 001, but we have to convert it first to a curve. Okay, and then go back to path, and then inherit from cushion 001, and okay, it's a path. It's going to be a path. Okay, where is it? My path. That's my path there. Okay, I need a very tiny circle. You can add that circle here. Okay, and that circle is quite big at the moment, which we can decrease the size of it to be 4 millimeters. 04. Okay, that's quite tiny. You can't view it, so if you hit the period on the numpad, you can center the view around that object and you can display it, but I don't want that now. What I'm going to do, curve circle, whatever it's called, I'm going to go to the path object. Okay, and I'm going to bevel it around the curve circle. Yes, good. So as you can see, that's the effect that I wanted to achieve. And you may want to add some bit of resolution here. 32, render resolution array 32, and then I'm going to convert that object into a mesh. Okay, and then add a subsurf modifier, and then you go to the cushion, deselect all, select that one, X to delete it, and also the circle, X to delete it, and then you select that back here. I think that we need to add back the subsurface modifier here, and then select that one. Okay, and oh, see, the origin of that object is here, so that's not it. That's not what I want to do. So object transform, we want the origin to move to the geometry, to the center of the geometry, right? Yes, that's it. And then move it down like that. Okay, like that. Like that, yes, okay. And then S to scale it in the Z axis like that, a little bit, a tiny bit like that. Now, enable the perspective viewport now again, and what I'm going to do, maybe I'll scale it up just a little bit across the Shift Z like that. Okay, but I think we need to add, I will disable it, need to add some depth here. Yeah, like that, to make it look like as if it's more comfortable. And then okay, display it back, that path, and you hit render. See, it's quite far away there right now. Escape to go back to the 3D view and then position your view as you like that, and then Control Alt 0, and that really positions your camera to your current view. Now I'll select the camera, G to grab it and move it and center it around the object. Now F12 to render. Quite nice, not bad. I will make my horizon color white, and then in the anti-aliasing I will increase that a little bit. Now I will just decrease the size to be 0.5. Go back and then what I'm going to do is to play around now with the materials. First of all, selecting my cushion, go to the material, and I will call this fabric, red fabric. Okay, and I will make it red, but because I've got this reference image, I can use my color picker, and that's it. But this fabric isn't that shiny, so I will disable the specularity at all. And then I have from CG texture that image, the fabric material, that's a fabric texture here. I can use it to add some sort of realism to that material. So I'll go to the texture panel here, and I'll call this fabric, and the type of that texture is going to be an image. No, I can display both if I want, and that image I'm going to choose it from here, fabric. The projection is cube, because our object is cube right now, right? Yeah. And I will want it to influence not the color, but actually the bump channel, that is the normal channel. That's quite a huge influence, so about 0.2 is going to be enough. And the blend method is going to be multiply. If you try render now, yeah, that looks like it. That really looks like it. It's not bad at all, you know. And you have to apply it now to this, you know, surrounding edge also. So I'm gonna choose my path object, and then first I'll have to go back to the 3D view, go to my path object, and then I will assign it to red fabric as well. And maybe I can duplicate that thing here, Shift D to duplicate it, and just in the Z direction, and make it like that. Okay. Move it up just a tiny bit like that. Okay. And then hit render. That looks good. That really looks good. Yeah? So, maybe I can increase the lighting just a little bit to be a little bit more clear. Go to the top viewport, select that lamp, Shift D to duplicate it, Shift D again to duplicate it, and I might increase the energy of this one, and then F12 to render, and yes, that really looks like it. It's just a, you know, a trial to simulate this as much as we can. It's not that perfect, but it's okay. It's okay for the sake of this tutorial. Well, and I think this really concludes our tutorial for today. I hope that you can really you know, complete the whole couch yourself, you know, but I just gave you an idea of how to start it, and then you can just go on yourself. Okay, so thanks again. Please leave a comment, leave any suggestion or any criticism if you want, send me an email, do whatever you want. I'll be really very pleased to help, and happy blending. Goodbye.